Hi, today I want to talk about 1981's Friday the 13th Part 2. Hold on a second, it's Christmas time. We're not talking about that. We're talking about 1974's Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark, starring Olivia Hussey, Margaret Kidder, and the great John Sexton. This film was filmed in Toronto, Canada. Um, it was made in 1974 on a budget of $620,000. And this is probably the best Christmas horror movie and all around just a really, really good horror film. Um, Now, there'll be spoilers in this review. Obviously, the movie's very old. If you haven't seen it and you like horror movies, I very much recommend checking this movie out. It's set just a few days before Christmas on a college campus. We meet these girls in a sorority house. And at the beginning of the movie, it shows through a POV shot this gentleman climbing. The only reason we know later is you could tell that it's a guy climbing up this lattice on the outside of the sorority house and climbs into the attic. We never really get a full shot throughout the whole movie of the guy's face. The only thing we see throughout the movie is maybe his eye, this part of his face. That's pretty much it. And we hear his voice. And most of the time he's making weird voices with it or funny noises with his voice. We never get any backstory to this killer at all. Now, supposedly this movie is based upon some murders that took place in Montreal around Christmas time, and also on the urban legend, The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. If you've ever seen the movie When a Stranger Calls, the first 20 minutes of that movie is pretty much that urban legend on film. And if you've never seen that movie, I highly recommend. The first 20 minutes are great. The rest of the movie doesn't live up to that first 20 minutes, but it's a good film to check out. Now on to Black Christmas. Like I said, this film takes place a few days before Christmas, and some of the girls are getting ready to leave for a Christmas vacation. Some of them are hanging around the school over their Christmas break. And this guy is in her attic. Nobody knows he's there. And one girl goes missing, but she was supposed to leave anyway. So nobody really thinks anything of it until her father shows up a little bit later in the movie asking where she was, that she never showed up at home like she was supposed to. And even the cops are kind of dismissive about it. They kind of say, maybe she's with her boyfriend. I wouldn't worry. Let's give it 48 hours and then we'll start being concerned. And the girls kind of go along their day. And our main character, they show her she finds out she's pregnant and she goes to tell her boyfriend and she wants to have an abortion. And her boyfriend doesn't take it very well. So she's upset. She goes back to the house. They have like a little Christmas party. And then some girls leave, some girls stay for the night. And as the movie progresses, this gentleman who's in the attic starts calling the phone and leaving talking to these girls very pervertedly over the phone, saying very awful things to them. And then eventually, one by one, some of the girls end up missing or getting killed. The house mother gets killed, and then it goes on. And then the police get involved when they realize they find a little girl killed in a park. And then now they're starting to take it seriously. And the babysitter and the man upstairs comes in later when our main character is on the phone with this guy, and the cops wanted her to stay on as long as she can because they're tracing the call. Now, back in the 70s, that wasn't an easy thing to do. And finally, they come to the realization that the calls are coming from inside the house because the house has two numbers. And that's where our climax takes place, inside the sorority house. And it's basically a fight to the death. Now, this movie it's not the first movie to use POV in the killer's point of view. The most famous one is obviously Halloween. John Carpenter was inspired by Black Christmas. There is a rumor that Halloween was considered a sequel to Black Christmas, but there's no way to confirm that. It's just internet chatter. But you can see definitely similarities to the way John Carpenter filmed at the beginning of Halloween and some of the parts of Black Christmas. Funny enough, some of the perverted phone calls throughout the movie were made by the director himself and a couple other people. But like I said, the killer gets no backstory at all. You don't see his face at all. You only see his eye and like this section of his face. That's pretty much all you ever see during the whole movie. The kills are not overly graphic. The movie definitely goes more for suspense and creepiness, and it's done very, very well. I would definitely consider this a classic, no doubt. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. I know they remade it back in 2006. I don't like that version. It's okay. It's not as good as the original. They give the killer more of a supernatural bent in that movie, and it doesn't need it. I think it's creepier as just this guy. They don't give you any backstory, and he just decides to go into this house and start killing people at random. I think it's much more scary than trying to give him a supernatural bent. Keep it simple instead of that. But they remade it. Now there's another remake coming out this Friday the 13th in December. But I don't know. I'm not really interested. The originals, you're never gonna top it. So like I said, if you never saw, I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really, really good horror movie and a good movie in general. If you've never seen it, I'd definitely check it out. It's definitely a cool horror film to check out this time of year around the Christmas holiday. But yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10. I highly recommend it. If you've never seen it, like I said, check it out. It's available on Blu-ray through Shout Factory. I'm sure I don't think it's on any streaming service, not the original, but I'm sure you can buy it on Apple TV or Amazon Prime or something like that. But yeah, that's it for this review. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button down below. If you've ever seen the movie, leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of it, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks.